Perez.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Perez, former FBLA Treasurer and Fundraising Director and Gabrielino graduate from the class of 2011. I'm here before you tonight to read some of this note from Monica Wong, former FBLA President and fellow Gabrielino graduate. Thank you, Mrs. Menchaca and other board members for allowing me to speak about how wonderful our principal, Mrs. Heinrich, is. Although I can't be there in person, Mrs. Heinrich has made such an impact on my life and my time at Gabrielino that I needed to share with everyone here how caring, supportive, and passionate she is. Mrs. Heinrich never fails to show her support of the clubs at Gabrielino. I am a former member of NHS, CSF, Optimist, Key Club, and most importantly, FBLA. Mrs. Heinrich was always there to root us on. FBLA was a huge part of my high school career, and as the club's president during my senior year, I was determined to make FBLA better than previous years. She was so supportive of FBLA and its growth that when I was approached by other FBLA presidents from neighboring high schools asking how Gabrielino FBLA was so successful, my answer would always be, because our administration at Gabrielino is our #1 supporter. In addition to clubs, Mrs. Heinrich attended all home games, meets, matches, including some away sporting events as well. As a former basketball player for the girls varsity team, I know I always felt loved and supported during games. Even when my team suffered a tough loss, Mrs. Heinrich always came up to the team after to say good game. Along with extracurricular activities, Mrs. Heinrich helped a lot with my academics. I asked her to help write a recommendation letter to USC, and she didn't hesitate to agree. Mrs. Heinrich spent time to write the letter, and I am so humbled that she believed in me enough to recommend me to USC. It is rare to find a principal and administration staff so dedicated and caring to students. I know Mrs. Heinrich didn't need to approve our FBLA competition trips, she didn't need to show up to sporting events, and she could have declined writing my recommendation letter to USC. Yet she went above and beyond with her support. And I know, as a student, I flourished under her guidance and care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I don't have any, I'm just back, okay. My teacher sense is sensing that we need a little more clarification as far as how these proceedings and the process will go. So you may go into closed session, you'll come back to open session. Will there be a chance for members of the public to address you after you come into closed session? Because this is the first time hearing all this, and I think a lot of people need some time to process this and address members of the board. And so I guess I'm asking for clarification.
I'll address that for you, Mr. Wong. No, this is the time in the course of the board meeting for the public to address the board. There will not be any further public comment later in the meeting.
Okay. Sorry. So what action can be taken in closed session? What are the options?
I'm not prepared to go into the advice that I would be giving the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question on that? Is that there will be no more public comments after we come back out from closed session? Is that law, or is that a decision?
That's the process. The board's procedures for its meetings are to take the public comment before it goes into closed session. And one reason for that is the Brown Act requires that members of the public be given the opportunity to speak before the board is in a position to deliberate or act on that.
Okay, I'm sorry if my 2 minutes are up, but I noticed in board policy 9320, it says every notice of a special meeting shall provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the board concerning any item that has been described in the meeting notice before or after the item's consideration.
After the item's consideration would be too late under the Brown Act.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Kevin McClure?
First, I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity and chance to communicate our concerns and our opinions regarding to your decisions about this. I also thank you for your diligence in trying to watch over the body that you've been given responsibility for. In terms of the issues at hand, leadership, not only have I taught next to Sharron, not only have I been a teacher under her principalship, but I've also worked for her as an employee for the Western Regional College Board District. In all of those things, as a young teacher, sidling up next to her and learning incredible techniques, I received leadership. As an employee, she came to my initial presentations and supplied me with materials that I didn't have. I received leadership. And as a teacher under her, I continually am challenged by her attempts to make sure that a 17-year veteran teacher is expanding and growing even in the dottage that I'm approaching. Also in relation to her ability to manage and go kind of like have her hands on the pulse of the school, I think that really focuses on an issue that is very, very important in today's sort of corporate and leadership and academic world, and that's micromanagement. She has put together an incredible staff who has their hands on the pulse of everything that's going on at Gabrielino. And through that staff, she extends herself to positions where she can't physically be. I challenge you to find an area where there's not some sort of administrative control, or at least presence. I haven't been able to see that, and I know that the kids from all levels experience, if not a direct and indirect attention from her through that her administrative team. I think that it's not possible for you to find a candidate who will be able to better exhibit her leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, just kind of wait through, excuse me.
We're not going to be accepting any more public comment. We're going to turn limit. Thank you.
There's no pre-announced limit.
According to our bylaws, it's 20 minutes per speaker. And, I'm sorry, 20 minutes total per topic.
You're talking about going.
I still have a lot more. Yeah, we're not done yet. Just no further more. So go ahead, you have your 2 minutes.
Everything that you've stated, Mrs. Machado, I disagree with wholeheartedly. I've seen Mrs. Heinrich. I've had the pleasure to know her as a student and as a graduate of Gabrielino. And I've seen her in action. I've seen how she leads. I've seen that. And it's sad that you would think that she is any less of a leader. Everyone in this room, I assume, knows that for a fact. She is a it's kind of sad that you're going at this about not using the field properly. She's almost at every game. She supports this school. I've seen her support every program. I've seen her support students individually. I know myself personally, I have. It's amazing what this woman can do. And what you're talking about is baloney.
And this is Greg. Move it.
Greg Wynn.
Win.
I'm a alumni. I graduated in the year 2000. I had Mrs. Heinrich's class in 1998. And the fact that I'm here 13 years later to speak on behalf of a great mentor of mine speaks to her influence in the city. She is one of the greatest educators the city has ever seen. I can leave out the hyperbole for now. Okay. You want to talk about her involvement with the community. She helped start the Gabrielino Alumni Association, which I'm also part of. And through that association, she's helped me to start a scholarship with the school. And if the district getting free money from a community member isn't outreach, I don't know what is. You're hurting the school, you're hurting the community, and you're hurting the future. Thank you.